Alright, hey everybody, welcome back. It is still a couple days left in the month of August. It's only the 28th today, but even though I could do this Sunday, I have recently just decided, like, hey, when you've got the right timing and the energy to do these videos, to do any type of content, you should just do it that day. So here we are with a smallish stack, compared to some weeks, or some months rather, of pickups. To start with, why don't we just start with this guy right here, BioMetal for the Super Nintendo. This is a game I played definitely a few years back. Tried it on the Super Nintendo. I was so impressed with how fast it was. It is an Activision published Super Nintendo shooter, but I don't remember the developer. We actually, this is going to be a common theme. We actually, somebody's collection that we got in at work basically just has a million things that are the type of thing that I like to play. So I've tried to be really, really careful and conservative and pick up only the things that I really, really want the most, including, I don't really play Super Nintendo, or I don't really play Super Nintendo off cartridges that much. I've been playing Super Nintendo Classics using the Switch Online service. Like, I just played Super Metroid the other day. I knocked that out over the weekend. It was great. I need to play these, like, staples, but, like, sort of picking up games like BioMetal, like shoot 'em ups and stuff, I really love them. They're great games, but I don't need those that much. I don't need to add those to the collection that badly. So when you get, oh god, a dozen great, awesome shoot 'em ups or action games or the type of things that you like, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta pick one. I'm picking one because I don't want to not get any of these awesome games that I really are exactly the type of thing I like. So I tried them all out again. I tried some heavy hitters in there. I tried Axel A, which is it's been on my list for forever. Blazion, a game published by Atlas. It wasn't that great. It had a lot of slowdown, kind of like Super R type. Actually, the closest thing to BioMetal at me actually wanting to pick it up was not a shoot 'em up. It was actually Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow. If you're not familiar with that game, I'm going to spend a minute talking about a game I didn't even buy. But Maui Mallard in Cold Shadow, starring Donald Duck, like a 1997, I think, Disney Interactive release for the Super Nintendo. Really cool action game with, I remember playing, I tried it out, and you kind of go back and forth across the different levels of a strictly 2D level design, but you can go inside and outside the building that you're in. And it's basically a Donald Duck platformer, a lot like Quackshot on Genesis, which is also a game that's been on my list for a long time and I need to pick up. So I think that was kind of why I ultimately went with BioMetal, along with the fact that I popped in BioMetal. I really knew I loved the gameplay. The gameplay is so fast, it's quick, the graphics, the backgrounds and everything, they look awesome. But the music, I can't even remember the exact title of it, but the music is fucking jock jams. It's a jock jam song. Like, pull up on YouTube. I think I'm doing Jellyfish Jam right now, and it's slightly different. But literally, the music for this game, the opening in the first level, is a fucking jock jam. And I was like, that's unreal. It kind of doesn't fit, but it kind of does in some ways. And that was it. That was why I went with BioMetal. Great game. Seriously. Look up the soundtrack to this game. You will not believe that is in a SNES shooter from 1994? Doesn't say. I think it's 1993, 94 maybe. Got just one original Game Boy game. It is a Pokemon Red. Why suddenly do you need a Pokemon Red, Derek? Why have you not had one before? Why did you just get a Pokemon Red at this stage of your life and didn't have one before? Well, so on the N64 quest, I have stuff to do. I'm a long ways away from this, but I realized I do really need to be ready for it. When I get to the summer of 2000 releases, that will be when I get up to Pokemon Stadium. And I have said it. I have formulated this opinion. It is the truth. It is undeniable. Pokemon Stadium is not the game it's meant to be if you don't have a real Pokemon game to put your own Pokemon in and play it with. So it may be a long ways away for me that I get to actually playing Pokemon Stadium for the N64 quest, but I needed to have this, and I need to get to a point sometime in the next year or so before I get to actual Pokemon Stadium on the 64 to play this and get my Pokemon ready and have some Pokemon to put in the game, because you will not get anywhere in that game. You will not make any progress in the later tournaments and cups without your own Pokemon. You cannot do it using rental Pokemon. It was never designed to do that, and I need this now. About this copy of the game, we never ever have it at work anymore. Pokemon games, it's the middle of a pandemic. They're already the most popular thing on the Game Boy. We never have these anymore. We have awesome repros. We have awesome repros of stuff like the game I wish I could be playing instead of regular base Pokemon Red. Pokemon Red Full Color Remaster DX, which is an awesome remake. Basically every quality of life improvement that you could make to original Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow is in a ROM hack called Pokemon Red Full Color DX something or other like that. And I highly recommend checking it out, but I couldn't do that. It wouldn't work on Pokemon Stadium, so I needed this. Now, we never have these at work anymore, and I was like, I need to go online, get a real Pokemon Red, or Blue or Yellow, whichever came up and was the cheapest that I could get, because I just need it. I have it on my 3DS. Like, I don't need this specific item in my life except for Pokemon Stadium. So I'm like, and I also can replace the battery myself. I don't need to get one that's a fully tested, 100% working battery. Wouldn't you know, I get the one that has, I only paid like $18 for it. Or maybe $21, something like that, on eBay. You know, battery doesn't work, whatever. Yeah, cool, I'm fine with that. I can do it myself. The label's not perfect. I don't need a perfect label. I'm not that serious about this as a collection piece, like other people would be. Wouldn't you know, I opened this, and it is one of the hardest batteries I've ever had to do. Thing was so weak, so janky, the battery was just rolling around in there, took the whole lead off by itself, just like, I didn't pull it off, it just came off and was just rolling around, so I had to solder it. I was so mad. I usually just tape the stuff with electrical tape, and then you can just put another one back in with another piece of tape. But goddamn, this gave me such a hard time. I was so mad. Of course it was my own personal one. Anyway, that's why I have Pokemon Red. That's why I need a Pokemon Red now. I'm 26 years old. I have been collecting for years now, and I just didn't have a regular Pokemon Red, and now I have one. That's why. I need it for Pokemon Stadium in a year, 2 years' time, so that I can actually play the damn game right. Because I have that strong opinion about it. You cannot play that game without a real Pokemon game to play with it. Two, another thing about work that we've gotten recently, this is super awesome, I'm very excited. We have a wholesaler that has old sealed stock, brand new sealed games that, overstock, overprinted, whatever you want to call them. We have got some great stuff in that we never have the chance to get, and we can sell for reasonable prices, mainly stuff like Persona, all the Shin Megami Tensei for PS2, and a couple other things that are in here. These two things are things that they had that would not be worth it to sell. It wouldn't make any sense to sell these for what we have to pay for them, but I said I want one of these each. This is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy for the Game Boy Advance. I just last month picked up the GameCube copy, which I had to print a damn label cover for because it's getting so expensive. But now I've got both Grim Adventures games. Still, I haven't opened this one yet, but I've opened other stuff. The console one is like a Power Stone style, like 3D beat 'em up. That's not great. I know it's not, but it's fucking Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and I love it. And this is more of a beat 'em up style, so I'm super into that. And it's a sealed copy. I will open it and play it. I just haven't done that yet. I have with other stuff. And then I'm actually bummed that I already own the other game of this for the Game Boy Advance, but this is Muppets On With The Show. Just sort of a rinky-dink little mini-game collection, but I love the Muppets, and I actually realized I need like the NES Muppets game, but I don't really need a whole lot else, and I'll have most of the regular Muppets games out there. I also want the Muppet Treasure Island for PC with a big, glorious large box, but anyway, yeah. Muppets On With The Show. There's also Spy Muppets License to Croak, which I could have got a copy of, but I already own that. But I still am considering actually buying a sealed copy of Spy Muppets, just so that I have both of them sealed, or at the very least complete in box when I open them. So that's Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance is done. PS1 games right here. Looney Tunes Racing. Just another kart racer for the PS1 that seems to have decent, if not pretty good, reviews and opinion about it. Literally on the back of this, I thought this was a bit excessive. LTR might surpass Crash Team Racing as the best PlayStation car racing game to date. Alright, that's not happening. Absolutely not. I cannot imagine this is better than Crash Team Racing, but that's still pretty high praise. I'll give it a shot for sure. And then the other one this is Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Now, this is actually me laughing at myself because I feel like I've become one of those people now who says, well, I should have owned... I will play that game. I'm definitely into it. I have a reason to buy that game. And, I'll pick it up right now because it's a clean copy, It's a clean copy. It's just, to say, what, it came across my availability. It's available to me to buy, and it's in really good condition. I just really wanted this because I'm like, this is a really great shape copy. You can feel, even on PS1 games, like, that they haven't really been touched or that they haven't been put in a position or an environment that, like, kind of puts a lot of layers of dust on them or anything like that. That has to keep being, like, wiped off. This is just, like, a really, like, shiny, lots of sheen on this case. The disc was in phenomenal shape as it was. The manual has barely been touched. And this is a game that I actually had when I was a kid, as I really do. Atlantis is another game, along with, or another movie, rather, along with Road to El Dorado, which I only got into recently, but it's a really great and underrated animated movie. I really liked it even as a kid, and I had this game. I never got past, like, probably the 4th or 5th level. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. But it's actually a game that I remember a very specific level from, because there's one scene in it that is sort of a towards the camera, like, chase sequence with the big Leviathan thing that is, like, the guardian of the underwater lost city of Atlantis. And I probably played that level 10 times over, and then went back to try and figure out the rest of the game, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. I cannot solve these puzzles. I'm a small child. But anyway, so I'm really glad. I'm looking forward to actually playing this again. It seems really cool. I might even pick up the Game Boy version of that, too, see what that's all about. A couple of 3DS games, not nearly as crazy as I have been for 3DS. It's kind of drying up a little bit what I can get for the library that I'd actually really want. But some cool stuff in here. So this is Disney Magical World. Sort of a... it reminds me of the concept that they gave you with Disney Adventures in the Magical Kingdom on the NES. Obviously, this is the 3DS. We're talking about a whole different world here as far as what they can do with it. But it's sort of a life sim game that sort of has the... we're going to kind of bring you around to all the different things that you can do at Disney World. So that's pretty cool. I might not go crazy over it. This game actually has, the 3DS is so crazy for special editions. This game actually has a special edition. It's got, like, a Mickey Mouse, like, silhouette and stuff on the top of it. I think it's, like, a white, like, white with, like, a silhouette. It's pretty cool looking. I'm so amazed that it exists. There's so many 3DS, special editions. Hey, Pikmin on the 3DS. I'm not the hugest fan of Pikmin. I used to think I would really like it when I was a kid, and I never really took to it because it's an RTS game, basically. It's an incredibly well-done RTS game for a console. But I'm not crazy into it, but this sort of 2D side-scroller version of it, it's like just to have a, Nintendo first-party title. It's like, yeah, absolutely, I'll take it. The game that no one asked for, but there's a lot of those on the 3DS, actually, for major Nintendo franchises. And then another shoot 'em up here, this Nano Assault for the 3DS. Now, this game, I actually had this. I didn't realize. I think I got this from a Humble Bundle years ago for actual Nintendo products. So I got a bunch of Wii U and 3DS download codes, and that's how I played, like, Shantae for the first time. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse on my 3DS. I loved that. And this is a game that I didn't really put that much time into, but I saw recently that it got a physical release. I didn't even realize it did. And this is actually kind of a tough one to find for the 3DS, I found out too. So having it on my 3DS, but realizing it had a physical, I was like, oh, I got to get that physical, but it's, a little bit expensive in there. So I thankfully was like, oh, okay, I don't need it then. And then I waited and I found it online for a good price of like $24. I was like, okay, yeah, $24 is a really, really good price for that, so I'm gonna pick that up. I'm glad I picked this up for less than $30, basically. And the other really interesting thing that did really make me want to pick it up and play it, even though I haven't played the other two games in the series, but just for a completionist's sake, this I believe is related to the Nano Stray games on DS. So there's two shoot 'em ups on the original DS called Nano Stray and Nano Stray 2, published by Majesco, and I believe also developed by Shinin. No, that's just kanji. This company that developed this game. So I think they changed it up a little bit, but the nano prefix, I think that's what that actually is. So, and then for more crazy, awesome, these are the type of things that I like, and I can't buy all of them. These are some Switch games here. Finally got the last volume for the Psikyo Collection. Psikyo volumes 1 and 2 I already had from a long time ago, actually, because I went out and I ordered them right away off of PlayAsia. And then I got mad at myself because they ended up releasing the games, every game that's on the Psikyo Collection, which is downloadable for one thing individually, but they brought them over to America as a 2-volume set with a big box, a soundtrack, and other stuff in there called Psikyo Shooting Stars Alpha and Bravo. Now, if I had the chance to think even for a second that those would have come out, I would never have ordered these off PlayAsia. I would not have gotten these. I would have said, I want those fucking big boxes. They look awesome. Even if I don't really care about a soundtrack or anything like that for using it, I was like, those big boxes are awesome. It's only 2 games with boxes that look great, and I'm going to be very proud to own them. But, lo and behold, I already owned 8 of the 12 games in the whole series on physicals that I paid good money for because I bought them off PlayAsia when they got released. And then there was always this Volume 3 here that I had kind of put off getting. And the reason that you're so stuck in the middle between them, if you've already bought the first 2 that came out and the third one comes out way later, is because the way that they redistributed them. So each of these games has... these Volume 1, 2, and 3 has 4 games on it. And then the 2 that they did has 6 games on them each. And it's 2 games from each volume. So you can't even buy one that it's like, oh, well, that game, I don't have most of the games on that one already. No, you already have, by default, 4 of the 6 games on each. So that was a really rocking a hard place for me. I had to just bite the bullet and buy Volume 3 eventually, so I did. As far as good things about it, though, I've played... It has Strikers 1945 Volume 3. I don't even have to play that. I know it's going to be great. What I did play instead was Zero Gunner 2, which has a really goofy, gimmicky, 360-degree shooting. So you have a helicopter, and you move it all around the screen, and then you hold down a button, and you can rotate it to shoot in certain directions. And it works extremely well. I took to it immediately. I thought it was awesome. Zero Gunner 2. Highly recommended. It's not Strikers. It's not like Sengoku Aces or anything like that. One of their like bigger series. Zero Gunner 2 though, I thought it was phenomenal. It's a great shooter. And then another shooting collection here. The Darius Collection has actually had some really, really weird differences in releases, but I figured a physical Darius Cozmic Collection from Japan here. It's got Darius 1. Old, new, and extra version, whatever the hell that means. Darius 2, cool. Sagaya version 1 and version 2, which is, I guess, I think one of those involves the console release. And then Darius Gaiden. So it's 4 games with a couple versions of different games, and that's good enough for me. I have this on physical. I have a Darius collection. They have done this so weird across the PS4, the Switch, the regions, physical, digital. Just bite the bullet, and grab one of them and say, you know what, I've got one of them. And then this, lastly, for Switch, is Woverblade, a Super Rare Games release. This is a beat-em-up that a lot of these games you can get on the eShop for not that much if you buy them digitally or you buy them individually. This game, I think, goes on sale fairly regularly, I want to say. But this physical, which has this really, really nice slipcover. Love slipcovers when they're in good shape, which is rare. But this is a beat-em-up that has a very, very interesting time setting. And I'm a sucker for that. If you have a different, a really unusual time period or historic setting that I haven't seen in other games, I'm very likely to pick up your game at some point. And this is 120 AD. The Roman army has seized control of the south of Britannia. and you are a group of... I forget the proper name for them, I'm stupid. Yeah. Anyway, Caradoc, Brennus, and Guinevere, guardians of the northern tribes, have rallied the tribes and are ready to wage war against the Romans. But you have sort of a beat 'em up, so it's not you commanding a large army. But yeah, very, very early AD in the Britons and the Roman Empire. Yeah, haven't seen a whole lot of that before, so definitely into that. Check out this cover with the cool cartoony, but like lots of blood on the axes and stuff. Very, very cool. So looking forward to giving that a try. We have the last piece of the puzzle from an ill-fated GameStop.com order I should not have done, because nothing came with a fucking case. Gang Beasts for PS4. I actually have wanted to pick this up for a while, and I figured there was a really good chance that this would come with a case. Nope, I'm wrong. I'm done. Gang Beasts, a goofy sort of brawler with like this sort of like Octodaddy wonky controls is my understanding of it. It looked cool. I've wanted to try it for a long time. Still haven't yet because I just put it on my shelf. Haven't been able to find a printable cover for it or anything like that, so it just sits there and mocks me. Anyway, let's move on. Let's not talk about that Gang Beast. Another thing that we actually have, we can carry at the store now, Metal Gear Solid, the Legacy Collection on PS3. This is the version of the collection for PS3. It's not released on 360, it's only on PS3, and it's a 2-disc collection that has basically every Metal Gear Solid game, or everything in the sort of Solid Snake, whatever you want to call it, story. And for stuff that I pretty much have figured I'm not the biggest fan of, I played the first Metal Gear Solid on PS1 like last year, like early last year, and I thought it was amazing. I'm so late to the party on this, but yeah, I was so impressed by it. I was like, I gotta kind of stick with this series and give some other stuff from it a little bit of a chance. So I gave up everything else that I had for Metal Gear Solid, and I just have this now, which is a huge plus for me, saving shelf space. The original, I think, release version of this had a slipcover and an art book. These don't have those, but what they do have, since I got this sealed old stock, is the only thing that's not on these discs, which is a little bit of a bummer, is the first Metal Gear Solid on PS1 and VR missions from PS1. But that does come as a download code, which, since this is sealed, is still good. But otherwise, so you get those two as downloads for the PS3. Then you get Metal Gear 1, like ZX Spectrum. Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, again, ZX Spectrum, I assume, version. Not the NES versions, basically. Then you get Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. I do think it's a little weird that they don't advertise them as Substance and Subsistence versions, which is, I guess they're not those versions. They're just the base versions, the PS2 ones. But whatever, I probably wouldn't have done all that extra content. Maybe they're just fitting them on here. Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker for the PSP, so you can play that on the fucking PS3 and not have to deal with the PSP god-awful control scheme that has. And then what I believe are visual novels or like animated films, something like that. Bande Dessinée and Bande Dessinée 2, basically. Some sort of story-based thing that aren't actual games. But yeah, the main parts of the Metal Gear Solid series up to 4. Very important. Very good collection to have. One GameCube game. I'm surprised they got any GameCube games, the way that prices on those have been. But Red Faction 2 for the GameCube. Game I definitely held out on to just get on the GameCube because it's not that important to me. Like, I don't have any special connection to this game, and I haven't played any of the games in this series. I own the 2 PS3 ones, but I think the only one I don't have is the first one. If the remastered version ever gets, like, super cheap on Switch, I probably will pick it up for that and try it out. But yeah, Red Faction 2 at least looks like a decent first-person shooter that I'd like to try. It's from Volition, who do Saints Row and stuff. I think they have a good idea of how to make these type of action shooty games and do them well. I've heard a lot of good things about this anyway, so check it out. It has a very cult following. And then last we finish up with 2 PS2 games. This game, on the other hand, I really wanted for GameCube for a long time, but now it's getting so crazy with everything. It's a clean copy. It's a clean copy, bro. So I picked up Alien Hominid. If you're not familiar with this game, it's basically a Flash game from the Newgrounds era in the early 2000s. But it got so popular that it got ported to console, PS2, and GameCube. I think the Xbox version was canceled. But with like a bunch of extra stuff, like a bunch of mini games and things. Like I've played the mini games on here; they're awesome, actually. So really, really cool stuff in Alien Hominid. And now it is very much like a cult classic. Like I said, it's a Newgrounds game. It's a Newgrounds like Metal Slug run and gun type of thing. I remember playing the original Flash game like on Newgrounds when I was a kid, and the controls are like super wonky and it's super difficult. So I'm wondering if they translate any better on the base game on the console. But even if they don't, like this is just sort of like this is the style of game I love, and I love that it even exists. They made a physical version in the PS2 era of a Flash game. Like what do you? Yeah, it's cool stuff. And then lastly, put me down for buying Resident Evil 4, my 18th time paying money for this? Something like that, something ridiculous. And I'm not done yet, because I still want the triple pack on Switch. This is Resident Evil The Essentials for the PS2. I had Outbreak File 1. No, you know what? Yeah, I didn't have Resident Evil 4 on PS2 anymore. I just have the GameCube version. I currently have the PS4 version, but once I get the Switch version, I'll get rid of that PS4 version. So it's just always topsy-turvy with Resident Evil, my second favorite game of all time, Resident Evil 4. But this is I just really liked being able to buy this. I bought it sealed, but I opened it up to check out all the goodies inside. And actually, what I was really hoping for with this, I had seen pictures of this online, and I guess this is a much later printing of it, because this does not have an inner slipcover. It just has this outside bit here. There's an inner slipcover on a different release of this that has like a red slipcase that goes inside around the games. And I thought that looked awesome. And I actually was just going to take this off and just display it with the red. But it's not in here. It's kind of a bummer. That was the main reason I bought it. But this is Resident Evil The Essentials. You can still get these sealed. We carry these now at work too. Resident Evil 4, Resident Evil Code Veronica X. No DMC demo disc. I'm sorry, people. They didn't need it anymore. And Resident Evil Outbreak File 1, and I have File 2. So I've got pretty much the whole PS2 Resident Evil collection. Glad to say I have Resident Evil Outbreak File 2, because that's the tough one to get. Oh, and I don't have like Dead Aim or anything. That's bullshit. It's bad. But yeah, just sort of a collection piece, because these games, these two I have not actually played. I haven't played 3 either ever. I'll get the remake of that at some point. But yeah, just a nice collection piece to have Resident Evil 4 in another nice displayable, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, cool. That's some stuff from this month. We'll see what is in store for us next month. I'm still playing Gauntlet Legends. I just did that this morning. Feel like firing it up again, actually, when I still have the energy here. But I got other stuff. Other stuff to check out. I'm making good progress on some games right now. But thank you for listening to me talk about these pickups that I made. I'll see you next time.